You know, it's always all about the money, isn't it? It's always all about the money. If I was to tell you that cops acted the way that they act, that they do the things that they do for money, I don't know if I've said this once, I've said it 1,000 times. The cops would not be doing the things that they're doing unless the government wanted them to. And the only reason the government would want them to do it, well, there's two reasons. One is to retain power. Second is this, money. They want more money. More money, more money. You've heard about that, more money. I need more money. Governments always need more money. And guess where they get their money from? But what if the reason that the police abuse, they shoot, they attack, they beat up, well, a lot of that is because they've been told that you need to exert your authority, that you need to be the authority. Is it by almost any means? And being the authority, at the same time, aren't you causing fear within the public? And you're going to be, oh, no, I ain't afraid of no cop. And you're going to be all like, I ain't afraid of no cop. Oh, bullshit. Now, listen, I don't care how good of a citizen you are. If you're going down the road and a cop pulls in behind you, you're going to have that moment of fear. You're going to be like, okay, did I change the tags? Tags are up to date. You're going to start doing a checklist. Is the motor smoking? What could I possibly be pulled over for? It's going to happen because we've been trained to fear the police. And there's a reason for it, because there's a lot of money in it. And you're going to say, but where is that money coming from? Well, I ran across an interesting article that might explain it. New report finds that civil forfeiture rakes in billions each year, does not fight crime. Now, I want to remind you guys when this came into effect. It wasn't during Reagan's time. It was Miss Reagan or Mrs. Reagan that began the whole, just say no for the children. It wasn't a Democrat, by the way. It was Reagan, a Republican, about how we have to fight drugs. And one of the things that they came up with quite quickly, to be precise, I think that came out during Clinton's years. No, that would be during Bush's. I'm pretty sure it was during Bush's, was asset forfeiture. Now, it was designed originally, and this was the idea behind it, or this is how they sold it to the public. Sold it to like you and me and pretty much everybody else that was pretty naive, okay? Well, if we take away all the assets from the criminals, from the drug lords, well, they're not going to be able to do business anymore, right? Well, this is the plan in fighting crime. Well, no, not really, because generally speaking, they're going to diversify their funds. Criminals aren't stupid. They're going to keep everything cached underneath their mattress. Good God. So, anyways, I believe that it was originally designed, and this is just my personal belief, for what it's being used for now. And you're saying to yourself, but John Masters, how in the hell does this have anything to do with the police being scary? I'm going to get to that. If you guys, come on, man, you got to be new to my channel if you know that I wait. I like to build up, give you the background. Nationwide, civil forfeiture laws put innocent property owners at risk and encourage law enforcement to police for profit. Right here, that's one of the main reasons right here, policing for profit. With billions of dollars forfeited each year, so finds the latest edition of Policing for Profit, released today by the Institute for Justice. Another thing, too, that it does do, remember, keep in mind, they can seize your stuff, and now you have to, remember, America innocent until proven guilty. Well, not when it comes to asset forfeiture, because it's a civil. Notice they use the term civil asset forfeiture, because they can't use criminal asset forfeiture. You can't do that. So what it is actually a civil proceeding. Now, you then have to now go in front of the judge and prove that that money, that vehicle, or whatever is legally yours. They don't need to prove that you received it through drug money or whatever. All they got to do is say that, remember, possession is 9/10 of the law. They got your shit, man. And if you want it back, you got to go fight for it. Asset forfeiture on average is less than $3,000, just to let you know, which, as you know, really hurts those drug lords that make millions a day. 3,000. The reason they pick less than 3,000 is because it's going to cost you at least $5,000 to get back your $3,000. Many times it's like not worth the hassle. The third edition of Policing for Profit presents the largest ever collection of state and federal forfeiture data, 17 million data points covering 45 states, the District of Columbia, and the federal government. These data show forfeiture is a massive nationwide problem. Really? You think? I mean, the whole part about shooting people, breaking into their home, and if they find a joint, taking all your shit. Unbelievable. And I'm going to bring up here, let me go ahead and go on a side tangent here. Remember, there was quite a while, quite a while, that even the Democratic governors, they would still back up the police. If it was really bad and they did something really egregious, well, they would just, of course, fire the chief. Well, it's not my fault. I'm just in charge of the city. The chief, he's a bad chief. We're going to replace him. And you guys will be happy because we got a new chief. And it wasn't me. It was, the chief, okay? Now, there's an issue going on with the police department, sheriff departments, all the way down to local police. And that is with the legalization of pot. The unions, the police unions, were fighting it tooth and nail because a huge amount of the income that went into different departments, remember, they got a percentage. The city got a percentage. The state got a percentage. Well, with the legalization of marijuana, and by the way, there's only one reason you do know that they legalized pot, right? Because there's more money in it than asset forfeiture. They're making millions, and millions on the sale of marijuana, the taxes on it. The government's got to get its cut. Well, the police unions have been pushing back, and they were pushing back quite heavily. Also, there's a political reason. Police unions or the police departments tend to be pro-Republican. But I want to bring up that, again, look at timing, okay? Look at timing. About the time that all of the different states were starting to legalize, and it was just Oregon and California and a couple others, but then there started to be a massive movement towards legalizing marijuana. At the same time, there began a massive movement to defund the police. In other words, not so much ridicule the police, but to blame most of our ills on the police. They became the scapegoats. Again, people, if the mayor and the governor didn't want cops to do it, they wouldn't do it. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you why the government would want cops to be, or people to be in fear of cops. Because you wouldn't give them your shit if you weren't afraid of them. Let's be honest, okay? If you weren't afraid of that cop, and he said, by the way, I'm taking your car, I'm taking your money, I'm taking your phone. Oh, by the way, I'm taking your house. If you weren't afraid of that cop, you would never let them do it, would you? But you're afraid of them, so you let them do it. And it's psychological, people. All of it's psychological. The third edition of Policing for Profit presents the largest ever collection of state and federal forfeiture, 17 data points. Oh, I already did that. The heart of the problem remains poor state and federal civil forfeiture laws, which they do on purpose. People, this has been going on for 50 years, okay? They're well aware of what the problems are. They haven't changed it because it's good money, lots of money, all right? Let's see, the heart of the poor federal laws, which are little improved since the previous edition of Policing for Profit was published in 2015. Now, this is really interesting. Every state, including the federal government, gets about a D. They grade them, okay? Now, the only state that gets an A is New Mexico. Only state. And, this could be why. Thanks to a 2015 reform that eliminated civil forfeiture and directed all forfeiture proceeds to the state's general fund. Cops were like, I'm not going to go beat somebody up, man, if we ain't making no money on this crap. I hate to have. Think mafia enforcers. Importantly, New Mexico's reform has not compromised public safety. According to a new analysis published in the report, compared to neighboring Texas and Colorado, New Mexico crime rates remained steady in the months and years following the reform, suggesting forfeiture does not deter crime, and law enforcement are able to do their jobs without forfeiture procedures. So those $3,000 they finally figured out wasn't hurting the drug lords. Yeah, they're still in Mexico anyways. So, guys, let's break it all down into money. Okay, the article kind of goes on. I think we all know what the story here is. Governments want the money. They want us to be afraid of the police, so we give up our stuff, being in fear for our own safety. That's really the crux of the matter. Till my next video, guys.